Pisces. Prophecy reveals your next 12 years. Shocking truth inside. Pisces. If you are watching this video right now, this prophecy has already found the right soul. You didn't click by accident. You didn't just happen to be here. There is no coincidence in the language of the universe. The fact that your eyes landed on these words means something ancient has been activated. Something that has been waiting for you specifically, patiently, quietly, across time. Pisces, this moment marks the opening of a rare 12-year destiny cycle. A cycle that does not repeat, does not pause, and does not return if you turn away from it now. 12 years. Let that number sink into your body. 12 years of choices, consequences, growth, loss, freedom, or repetition. And what you do after hearing this will decide which version of those 12 years you step into. The universe does not scream. It whispers, and when it whispers to Pisces, it does so through intuition, through emotion, through a subtle pull you cannot explain, but cannot ignore either. You may feel it now, that tightening in your chest, that strange sense of recognition, as if something you forgot is suddenly remembering you. Pisces, there is a reason you were called here before anyone else. In ancient prophecy, it was said that the souls of water would be the first to feel the purification wave, the first to be tested, and the first to either rise or dissolve back into old karmic loops. Baba Vanga spoke of a time when the bearers of compassion would face the hardest cleansing because they carried too many burdens that were never theirs to hold. That prophecy points directly to you. This is not meant to scare you, it is meant to wake you up. Because if you miss this signal, the next 12 years do not bring something new. They repeat what you already survived. The same emotional sacrifices, the same unbalanced giving, the same pattern of loving without boundaries, forgiving without protection, hoping without receiving. Pisces, you have been here before. That is why this feels heavy and familiar at the same time. Karma does not punish. Karma repeats lessons until awareness arrives, and awareness is knocking now. Ask yourself this quietly, honestly, without judgment. Why does it feel like life has been pressing you harder lately? Why do old memories, old faces, old emotions seem to surface again when you thought you were done? Why does rest no longer feel restful, and silence no longer feel peaceful? Because the clock has started. The 12-year gate is open, and Pisces is the sign being tested most intensely in this cycle because you feel everything, including what others avoid. The universe knows this. That is why the trial comes to you first. Right now, as you listen, signs are already unfolding. You may have felt sudden exhaustion, emotional overload, or a desire to disappear from noise and expectation. You may feel drawn to solitude, to water, to reflection, or to endings you cannot yet explain. These are not random moods. These are signals. In Buddhist philosophy, suffering intensifies before liberation. Not because you are failing, but because attachment is being challenged at its deepest root. Pisces, the suffering you feel is not new pain. It is old karma asking to be released. And here is the shocking truth most people never hear in time. If Pisces does not consciously choose differently during this window, the next 12 years will quietly lock into place, shaped by unconscious decisions made now. Staying silent when your soul wants to speak. Staying loyal to cycles that drain you. Staying kind at the cost of your future. That is how destiny hardens, not through dramatic mistakes, but through gentle compromises repeated too long. Why is Pisces the most tested sign in this cycle? Because you are capable of transcendence, but only if you stop dissolving yourself for others. The prophecy does not predict your downfall. It predicts your awakening if you are brave enough to stay present. This is happening now, not later, not someday, not when you feel ready. The universe does not wait for comfort. It responds to awareness. If your heart is beating faster, if your intuition is alert, if something inside you is saying, "This is for me," then listen carefully. You are being prepared for what comes next. Do not leave yet. Stay, breathe. Let these words settle. The next part will reveal what this cycle demands from you and why your future depends on what you recognize in the next moments. If you feel this message, signal it. Like this video to anchor the energy. Subscribe to protect your timeline. And if your soul feels called, share this with another Pisces, because some awakenings are meant to ripple outward, not remain alone. Pisces, listen carefully now, because what you are about to hear is not surface astrology, not entertainment, and not something meant for everyone. This is cosmic information, the kind that only becomes available when a soul reaches a certain threshold of readiness. Neptune. Your ruling planet is not simply drifting through the sky right now. Neptune is standing as a gatekeeper of destiny, a guardian at the edge of a 12-year karmic cycle that is opening and closing at the same time. Neptune governs illusion and truth, sacrifice and salvation, spiritual wealth, and energetic debt. And when Neptune activates a long cycle for Pisces, it does not ask politely. It demands awareness. A 12-year cycle is not a phase. It is a full life chapter. It marks the opening and closing of major karmic contracts involving love, money, purpose, and the role your soul plays in the lives of others. For Pisces, this cycle is especially powerful because your soul carries an ancient pattern of sacrifice. You are the healer, the listener, the one who absorbs pain so others can breathe easier. Across lifetimes, Pisces energy has learned to give without limits, to forgive without protection, to stay when leaving would have been safer. Neptune remembers all of this. And now, Neptune is asking a single question that will shape your next 12 years. Will you continue to dissolve yourself for others, or will you finally choose conscious sovereignty? This is why the energy feels heavy and revealing at the same time. Astrology shows that what you have avoided, postponed, or spiritually bypassed is no longer willing to stay hidden. Anything unresolved does not disappear under Neptune's watch. It returns not as punishment, but as repetition. Relationships you thought were finished may reappear emotionally or physically. Financial patterns tied to self-worth may resurface. Old fears about being alone, unseen, or unchosen may whisper again. Pisces, this is not the universe being cruel. This is the universe offering a final opportunity to break the loop instead of reinforcing it for another 12 years. Understand this clearly. This cycle is not here to hurt you. It is here to free you. But freedom requires awareness, and awareness requires discomfort. That is why many Pisces have felt strangely exhausted without obvious cause, emotionally sensitive to noise crowds and expectations, or suddenly nostalgic for people they thought they had outgrown. These are not mood swings. These are energetic signals. Your nervous system is responding to a deep internal shift. In Buddhist philosophy, this moment is known as the stage where attachment becomes visible. Suffering intensifies, not because you are failing, but because clinging is being exposed. You may notice that you no longer tolerate chaos the way you used to. Loud environments drain you. Shallow conversations feel unbearable. Even certain dreams feel heavier, more symbolic, more real. That is because Neptune is thinning the veil between conscious choice and unconscious habit. Pisces is beginning to see clearly, and clarity can feel shocking after years of emotional fog. This is why so many Pisces report feeling like they are waking up lately, questioning relationships, careers, and roles they once accepted without reflection. You are not losing compassion. You are gaining discernment. Astrologically, this is the moment when destiny responds to awareness. What you choose now sets the tone for the next 12 years. Staying silent when your intuition speaks becomes a contract. Overgiving when your energy is depleted becomes a contract. Choosing comfort over truth becomes a contract. But so does choosing yourself. So does walking away without guilt. So does protecting your emotional and financial boundaries. Neptune does not judge which path you take. It simply magnifies it over time. This is why the prophecy begins to align now. Ancient visions spoke of a time when the most compassionate souls would face their greatest test not through violence or loss, but through choice. Pisces, you are standing in that moment. The universe is not rushing you, but it is watching. Every feeling you have dismissed lately is actually a message. Every urge to simplify, to retreat, to speak honestly, or to rest deeply is guidance. This is the last gentle phase before patterns solidify. If this message resonates, acknowledge it. Awareness amplifies protection. Like this video to anchor the energy. Subscribe to stay guided through this cycle. And if you feel called, share this with another Pisces because some souls need permission to trust what they already feel. This is the moment when the prophecy stops being distant and starts becoming real. Pisces, stay with me now because what I'm about to reveal is the part most people never hear in time. Ancient prophecies never speak loudly. They hide inside patterns, inside suffering, inside repetition. Baba Vanga once spoke of a group of souls who would endure prolonged emotional hardship not because they were weak, but because they were carrying too much for too long. She described them as sensitive spirits bearers of compassion who would awaken only after pain stripped them of every illusion they once relied on. Pisces, that description fits you with unsettling precision. You are not late because you are slow. You are late because your awakening requires total surrender, not partial awareness. Pisces is the sign that wakes up last, but when it does, it wakes up completely. You do not awaken halfway. You do not return to sleep. And that is why the path leading up to this moment has been heavy, confusing, and emotionally draining. Baba Vanga's visions spoke of souls who would lose themselves many times before remembering who they truly are. That is not a curse. That is a preparation. You were never meant to wake up gently. You were meant to wake up thoroughly with no illusion left to cling to. Here is the shocking truth that most people are not ready to accept. The next 12 years are not designed to be comfortable. They are designed to be free. If you choose correctly, these years will strip away everything false, everything draining, everything that kept you small. And yes, that process will hurt. But it will hurt once instead of quietly hurting forever. Pisces freedom is never soft at the beginning. It is sharp, clean, and decisive. Comfort, on the other hand, can be warm and deadly at the same time. Those who are afraid to let go will be pulled back into old timelines. Old relationships will resurface, not because they are meant to last, but because the lesson was never finished. Old financial struggles will reappear, especially those rooted in guilt, self-sacrifice, or the belief that you must earn rest through suffering. Old responsibilities that were never truly yours may land back on your shoulders. This is not bad luck. This is karma. Asking one final question, have you learned, or are you willing to repeat? But those who dare to walk away will experience a rupture in destiny. And rupture is the right word. The timeline does not gently shift. It breaks. One decision, one refusal to abandon yourself again, one quiet exit made without drama can reroute the next 12 years entirely. New connections form where emptiness once existed. New financial pathways open when energy stops leaking. New peace arrives not because life becomes easy, but because you are no longer fighting yourself. This is the choice Baba Vanga warned about without naming it directly. Short pain versus long freedom, or temporary safety versus long karmic debt. Pisces, you know this comparison deeply because you have lived both sides in fragments. You know the pain of staying. You know the exhaustion of explaining yourself. You know the cost of carrying emotional weight that was never reciprocated. And somewhere inside you, there is also a memory of leaving, even if it did not last. A memory of relief so quiet, it felt unreal. That memory matters now. Let me say something that may send a chill through your body. You have been here before. Not metaphorically, energetically. The feeling of standing at the edge of a decision that will echo for years is familiar to your soul. That is why this moment feels intense, urgent, and strangely recognizable. Time is not linear to the soul. Patterns repeat until consciousness interrupts them. Pisces, your soul remembers the cost of not choosing itself. This is why the prophecy only activates when you recognize it. Nothing happens if you dismiss this. Nothing changes if you scroll away and tell yourself you will think about it later. Prophecy is not fate. It is an invitation. It becomes real only when awareness meets action. Buddhist wisdom teaches that liberation begins the moment illusion is seen clearly, not when it disappears, but when it is recognized as illusion. You are standing at that threshold now. Notice how your body reacts as you listen. Notice the tightness, the emotions, the clarity, or even the resistance. These are signals, not distractions. They are confirmations. Pisces, the universe is not asking you to rush. It is asking you to be honest. Honest about what drains you. Honest about what you are afraid to lose. Honest about what you already know, but have delayed acting on. The next 12 years are forming right now through subtle choices that seem small, but carry enormous weight. Who you answer, who you stop answering, where you stay silent, where you finally speak, where you leave without waiting for permission. This is not destruction. This is alignment. If this message feels like it is speaking directly to you, acknowledge it. Comment to anchor the recognition. Each comment is a declaration of awareness, a signal that you are no longer asleep in your own life. Like this video to protect the timeline you are stepping into. Subscribe so you are not navigating this cycle alone. And share this message if you feel it could wake another Pisces who is still doubting their own intuition. Some prophecies are meant to be remembered together because awakening multiplies when it is witnessed. Pisces, breathe with me now, because this is the moment where fear dissolves and awareness begins. In Buddhist teaching, karma is often misunderstood as punishment, as something heavy that follows us to judge our mistakes. But true wisdom teaches something very different. Karma does not punish. Karma repeats. It repeats only when the lesson has not been learned, only when consciousness has not yet arrived. And Pisces, your soul has been repeating one lesson more than most. The belief that love requires sacrifice without limits, that compassion means enduring what hurts, that your value is proven through how much you can carry for others. This is not a flaw, it is a pattern, and patterns exist to be seen, not to be shamed. Pisces carries the karma of compassion without boundaries of spiritual generosity that forgets the self. Across time, this has made you the healer, the rescuer, the quiet strength behind others' growth. But Buddhism reminds us that even compassion must be guided by wisdom. Without wisdom, compassion becomes attachment. And attachment is the root of suffering. This is where the universe gently but firmly intervenes. Buông bỏ, letting go, is not loss. It is the completion of a soul contract. Every relationship, responsibility, and role you have taken on was once a lesson agreed upon by the soul. But not every contract is meant to last forever. Some are meant to end the moment awareness arrives. Pisces, you are not failing anyone by leaving. You are graduating. There is a reason silence feels so powerful to you now. Silence is not avoidance. Silence is alignment. In many cases, the most karmically cleansing action is not confrontation, not explanation, not proving your truth. It is quiet withdrawal, leaving without drama, choosing distance without hatred, ending cycles without rewriting the story again and again. Buddhism teaches that liberation often happens when we stop feeding the illusion, and illusion feeds on reaction. When you stop reacting, karma loses its grip. This is why walking away without explanation can feel terrifying at first, yet strangely peaceful afterward. It is because you are no longer negotiating your worth. You are no longer asking permission to protect your energy. Pisces, you do not need to save anyone to justify your existence. You do not need to suffer to earn love. You do not need to stay small to keep others comfortable. These beliefs were learned, not inherent, and what is learned can be unlearned. The choice you make now is not small. It is not temporary. It is not symbolic. It is foundational. This choice will determine whether the next 12 years feel like living or like surviving, whether your days are shaped by conscious intention or by quiet endurance, whether peace becomes your baseline or remains something you chase but never reach. Buddhism teaches that one moment of clear choice can outweigh years of unconscious habit. You are standing in that moment now. Ask yourself honestly, without fear, without obligation, without guilt, if you were not afraid of disappointing anyone, if you were not afraid of being misunderstood, if you were not afraid of being alone, what would you choose? Not what you think you should choose, not what others expect, but what your soul has been whispering every time you are exhausted, every time you feel heavy without knowing why. Every time you imagine a version of your life that feels lighter and more truthful. That imagined life is not fantasy. It is memory. It is the soul remembering alignment. Fear is not a sign to stop. Fear is a sign that an old identity is dissolving, and old identities always resist dissolution. Buddhism teaches that suffering arises when we cling to what is already leaving. Relief comes when we allow the release to complete. Pisces, the universe is not demanding perfection. It is asking for honesty. Honesty with yourself about what drains you. Honesty about where you are giving from emptiness instead of fullness. Honesty about where staying feels like self-betrayal. When you choose honesty, karma does not disappear. It transforms. The same energy that once trapped you begins to protect you. The same sensitivity that once overwhelmed you becomes discernment. The same compassion that once depleted you becomes wisdom. This is why this moment matters so deeply. You are not being asked to fight. You are being asked to choose. One choice, one direction, one internal yes or no can lock in a completely different karmic trajectory. Buddhism calls this right intention. Astrology calls this alignment. Prophecy calls this awakening. Different languages, same truth. Feel the calm beneath the intensity. Feel the clarity beneath the emotion. That is your soul stepping forward. The next part will ask you to seal this choice, to anchor it, to protect it from doubt and distraction. But for now, simply stay present. Let this message land. Let it rearrange something inside you. If this resonates, acknowledge it. Awareness strengthens protection. Like this video to anchor the shift you are making. Subscribe to stay guided as this new cycle unfolds. And if your heart tells you someone else needs to hear this, share it, because wisdom multiplies when it is passed on. Pisces. This is the moment where fear ends and consciousness begins. Pisces. If you are still here, this is not the end of the message. This is the moment the message turns into action. This is where listening becomes choosing, and choosing becomes destiny. You didn't stay by accident. You stayed because something inside you is ready to step forward, even if another part of you is still afraid. And fear is allowed here. Fear does not mean you are weak. Fear means the old timeline knows it is about to lose its grip. Take a slow breath in right now. Let it fill your chest, your belly, your body. And as you breathe out, allow yourself to think about the one thing you have been afraid to let go of. Not what you should let go of. Not what others think you should release. The thing your soul tightens around every time you imagine life without it. Stay with that feeling. Do not push it away. This is the doorway. Buddhism teaches that liberation begins not when fear disappears, but when we stop obeying it. Astrology teaches that destiny shifts when intention becomes conscious. And prophecy teaches that a timeline only changes when a soul chooses it deliberately. Pisces quietly, internally repeat this truth as if it is already real. I choose freedom over repeating old karma. Say it slowly. Let it land. This is not just a sentence. This is a command to your subconscious, to your nervous system, to the universe itself. Every 12-year cycle is sealed by intention. What you declare now becomes the energetic blueprint your future responds to. You are not begging the universe for change. You are signaling readiness. Right now, unseen forces are listening. Energy follows focus. When a Pisces becomes clear, reality rearranges itself in subtle but irreversible ways. The relationships that drain you begin to loosen. The obligations that were never yours start to fall away. Opportunities that match your true frequency begin to find you without force. This is not magic. This is alignment. And alignment must be anchored, or doubt will attempt to pull you back. That is why this moment matters. This is where you lock the timeline. Not later, not tomorrow, not when you feel more confident. 12 years do not wait for hesitation. They respond to decision. And the simplest, most powerful way to anchor a decision is through action. That is why I am asking you now with full awareness and intention to comment these exact words, I choose my new 12-year destiny. When you comment, you are not performing for an algorithm. You are declaring sovereignty. Each comment is a signal sent into the field, a marker that says this soul has awakened and chosen consciously. There is a reason collective rituals have existed in every spiritual tradition. When intention is witnessed, it becomes stronger. When choice is spoken, it becomes real. And when many Pisces speak at once, the frequency amplifies. Your comment helps this message reach another Pisces who is standing at the same crossroads, but still doubting their intuition. You are not just choosing for yourself. You are helping stabilize a higher timeline for others like you. Now, consider this carefully. Sharing this video is not about content. It is about protection. When awareness spreads, manipulation weakens. When truth circulates, confusion loses power. Somewhere right now, another Pisces is feeling exhausted, guilty, stuck, or afraid to walk away. They may not even know why. Sharing this video may be the nudge that helps them trust what they already feel. Some destinies realign because someone else had the courage to pass the message forward. And if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, not out of obligation, but out of self-respect, this cycle will continue to unfold. Signs will appear, tests will come, confirmations will arrive. Staying connected ensures you are not navigating this transformation alone or blindly. Guidance sharpens awareness. Awareness protects the future. This is not about predictions. It is about preparation. As you reach the end of this message, notice how you feel compared to when it began. Maybe you feel calmer, maybe more emotional, maybe more resolved. Whatever is present is correct. Transformation does not always feel dramatic. Sometimes it feels quiet, like a decision finally being honored. Pisces, your sensitivity is not a weakness in this cycle. It is your compass. But a compass only helps if you follow it. Let me be very clear now, because clarity is compassion. If you ignore this moment, nothing explodes. Nothing dramatic happens. Life simply continues as it has. The same loops, the same emotional labor, the same compromises disguised as kindness. That is how 12 years pass unnoticed. But if you choose now, if you anchor awareness now, the next 12 years will not be perfect. But they will be honest. And honesty creates peace faster than comfort ever could. 12 years do not wait for anyone. Not for fear, not for nostalgia, not for unfinished conversations. Time responds only to presence, and you have been present here, listening, feeling, recognizing. That alone means you are ready. So take one more breath. Feel your body. Feel your awareness, and then act. Comment to lock the timeline, like the video to anchor the energy. Subscribe to stay guided. Share to protect another soul standing where you once stood. Pisces, this was not meant to scare you. It was meant to activate you. 12 years do not wait. You have been warned. You have been prepared. Now you choose.